Hi folks, welcome back to the Metal Mill 52 workshop. My name is Bill, and in this week's episode we'll cover the disassembly and paint and body work and some of the reassembly of the 5C tool holder. Very pleased with how this came out. Very excited about finishing the project and getting ready to use it. Speaking of getting ready to use it, I wanted to show off the new home of the Quorn. It's on top of a toolbox, and before you think that I spent a lot of money on this thing, I actually bought this old rolling toolbox off of the from the local Habitat for Humanity restore for $40. It was missing a drawer, so I made up a new drawer. I painted the whole thing, and I've been using it for storage and various purposes ever since. But I'm real pleased about having the Quorn on top of it. I think it's right next to the door to my workshop, so if I'm out here in the daytime on the weekends, I should have some good natural light. I'll probably have to rig up a nice light over top of it to use as I learn how to use the Quorn. So that's its new spot, and if you'll just sit back, probably about 20 or 30 minutes in this video of finishing up that 5C tool holder. I hope you enjoy. Please like, subscribe, pass the word, give a thumbs up, all that stuff, and I'll appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a great week. For this episode, I'll be taking apart and doing the paint and body work on the 5C casting. This is a casting that I bought from Gary Martin at Martin Model and Pattern, and it is a fantastic project. If you're building the Quorn, I would highly recommend it. Thought I would take a video because it's been so long since I built this thing. Take a video of me taking it apart bit by bit. So this is the sleeve that you machine that holds the 5C collet in place. I believe the next thing to take off is this nut. It holds the spindle in. Like I said, it's been so dang long. Alright. Should show what I'm doing here. Okay. So there's the nut. This is the index ring, hand wheel. I never call it by the right. And the key, that 3/32 inch key, I believe. Okay. And now we can take the actual center spindle out. It's machined to accept the 5C collets. This is such a cool project. It was fun making this. I really enjoy the detail work. I certainly didn't make it perfectly, but I'm pleased nonetheless. A little index pin, if you can see that. And it's in there. Okay. So now I'm going to take the back plate off. I really like this whole design with this back plate, because the back plate simply screws on and it does not rotate. It stays in place. Straight blade screwdrivers. And ground the tops of these screws so they'd be flush, flat. Dang. Alright, let me get a smaller screwdriver. I'm going to cut the video off real quick right here. Alright, here we go. Should have just got this one from the first place. It's kind of a little ignition screwdriver. And so the right hand one is the one that has a little edge machined off of it. The left hand one is relatively whole. it off. Alright, so now you can see the casting as it is. Since we've got the spindle out, now I can just remove that assembly and keep it in place. I will have to polish the ball handle and make up a bronze or an extra brass washer for this part. And then it just leaves the base. Man. Oh, I guess I should take the, there we go. That's a snug fit. Okay, that's the bottom split cotter. Alright, that's all there is to it. So the casting, this, if you watched any of the machining steps, these are actually very beautiful castings from Gary Martin. Beautiful cast iron. This one I'll just need to grind off the 2TH 2-inch tool holder part there. Grind this a little bit smooth, and some of that flash, I'll just grind that a little bit. That's gonna about all there is to it. So I'll get that done tomorrow, which is the 4th of July, Independence Day here for the United States. I'll get that ground, and then I can put the next coat of JB Weld on it and do through the finishing steps. This video, I'll try to make it not as laborious as the others, but I wanted to take the video of taking it apart because I really like, this is just the coolest thing ever, this 5C casting, and I've got a huge set of 5C collets, so I can't wait to use this in the Quorn. I wanted to add, this is that same grinding tool I've shown in some of the other paint and body work videos, and it came in this kit that I think I got it either at Home Depot or Lowe's, I forget which, but it was in there, and it's got, the reason I bought the kit originally, it's got the new quick change style sanding drum holders, which it's a very much improved design over the old kind that you had to screw in the little, expand the rubber collet. So, but look at this, I've used this on a bunch of things already, and I even used it on a couple of little household projects, and it's still held up, so that certainly would be enough to grind that off. A little cutoff wheel, and a flap disc, 80 grit flap disc. That all, these came in this kit. I don't think the cutoff wheel actually did, but anyway, nice kit. I love my Dremel. Still has a polishing thing in from polishing up some of the other pieces on the last one that I did. So just thought I'd show that. I'm not sponsored by Dremel or anything, but I really do like their products. It's great stuff. Thank you, Dremel. Whoever you are, I do enjoy, and I like the fact they keep improving the products. This whole kit was like $17, which seems kind of high, but I've gotten some good use out of that and the sanding drum thing alone, so pretty happy about that. Oh, it also had, let me show you, it had these little quick change sanding discs in there. I've used some of these too, so very clever idea. There's a smaller cutoff wheel that I had and kept it in there. So thanks, Dremel. Okay, it's the next day. Happy 4th of July. That just used a succession of Dremel grinding stuff. Ground the outside down nice and smooth. I ground it with the regular grinder part first, then the flap wheel, and then a sanding disc. It's a little rough up here, so this would be a perfect candidate for the JB Weld. I won't bore you with the application since I've already showed that before, but just filling in kind of the pockmarked surface there, and that's all that this part really needs. It's so beautiful. Just a little skim coat and sanding and priming and painting. So like I said, I'm not going to show you guys all that stuff since you've already seen all this. So anyway, Hope you enjoy. I'll bring you back when it's primed, I guess. Here's the 5C tool holder. Disassembled 2 coats of bodywork and primer, filler and primer on it, looking good. Ready to buff it and put the final coat, or scuff it I should say, and start brush painting with the top coat. Hey, for this segment I thought I'd show the reassembly of the 5C collet chuck. Here it is. It's basically finished and painted. Pretty happy with how it came out. I put a coat of wax on this last night, some regular automotive wax, and what I've just done now is to use some acetone to clear off the little spot, because there's a couple things I want to do. Put a little blue Loctite here where the screws go. If you notice, the blue Loctite is, that it's strong. It'll certainly help keep things together, but it more or less acts like a lock washer. It won't be impossible to loosen these parts up. So put the blue Loctite in there, index ring back on, fit it into position. Get the screws ready. Just get them started. You can also notice that I already did the the parts that require the split cotters and ball handles. Those are fiddly, and I didn't really want to waste the time filming, because once you've messed with them, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, we got these together. Nice. Whoa. Really like the design of the 5C tool holder. I'm really looking forward to using this. So thought was to put a little dab here in the slot. I don't know if that'll help hold the little Woodruff key in there or not, the 3/32 inch. But I cleaned that off. I had waxed this part yesterday, and I cleaned it off with some acetone just a minute ago. There's the Woodruff key, put it in the position. I should have brought my little brass hammer out here, but let's try a little real high tech. Alright, and now we slip on the I had to do a couple things to this. The spring that I had on this was not real strong yesterday, so I went ahead and put a stronger extra spring in there. And slip that on, and now we can pull this out of the way and put the lock ring on. That'll be interesting. See if I can get that to go. It's a tight squeeze here. Set this down. You definitely don't want to mess up your carefully done threads, that's for sure. Oh, mercy. Let's take this off for a second. Get that into a position. There we go. That's the ticket. So get that snug and let this thing sit down. Okay. So that's together, looking good. Really like this kind of self-contained design with the detent here. I waxed this also. I had already used the aluminum polish on it, but I waxed it too. So just in case you missed any of this, you put the 5C collets in here, and then this is basically the collet closer tube that goes inside and has a hexagonal cut on the back, so you can, and it has internal threads there, so that's what tightens up the 5C collet in place. Alright, so there we have it. That thing's finished. Let me put this aside for a moment, and let me show you the next and final thing that I have to work on as far as the paint and body work goes is the spiraling head. And this one I also used an ER collet chuck. I think this one's ER16. Let me see, ER20. And I bought a set of ER20 collets off of eBay. It was really relatively inexpensive. So I need to put the ball handles on here. I have a set of small ball handles like this one to go on here, and then to do the paint and body work on the cast iron, and also finish up with the split cotter down here. So I'm gonna start working on this tomorrow and publish. That'll be the last video I do on building the Quorn. The next thing I'll do, I went through the book today and I outlined the final assembly and alignment steps. So I'll do a little video on that before I start using it. But speaking of using the Quorn, I wanted to point this out. I've made a playlist on my channel that's called Using Quorn Tool Grinders, and so far there's 5 videos in that playlist. There's 2 by a gentleman, a creator named F. Clef, who he shows how he uses his Quorn to sharpen lathe cutters and lathe tool bits, and then also to put the 4-facet grind on drills. So those are pretty interesting. That's in the playlist. And also Dan Hill from Hill's Gun, he has 3 actually videos that are one on doing end mills, one on shell end mills, and one on a tap. So I probably, unless I discover something cool about the use, I probably won't do, a lot of videos showing how to use the Quorn, but maybe one add to my playlist after I get it all aligned and marked out. So once again, thanks everybody for joining me on this journey. We're almost done with building the Quorn and putting it all together, and I appreciate it. And if you like it, just please give me a thumbs up. If you have a question or comment, please make that in the comment section. And if you would, please pass the word to your friends and fellow hobbyists, because I am trying to grow the channel. So thanks again everybody. Hope you have a great week. Goodbye.